Hey everybody, I'm Joey and today we're baking some ridiculous beef short ribs. Together, we'll turn up the tasty, so follow me and let's get baked. When most people think ribs, usually pork ribs come to mind, but the beef rib should not be overlooked. And today we're using boneless beef short ribs, and I really like to think of these as the Kevin Hart of meat. They're relatively short, but will leave you with a smile on your face. Smoking beef ribs is always a great option, especially for bone-in ribs, but today we're gonna bake these boneless ribs and the result is going to be just tremendous. The first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 300 degrees. Next, grab your seasoning. Today we're using Code 3 Spices Backdraft Rub. It's hot and smoky. This is not a paid endorsement. I just love this rub and this company. So the next thing we're going to do is just go ahead and cook these thoroughly on all sides. This seasoning, when it's applied thoroughly, is going to create some really nice bark. Really nice bite on the exterior of these ribs. Yeah, now I don't use sauce for these because, again, I find that sometimes that gets in the way of getting that really nice bark. This seasoning right here has a little bit of sugar in it, so it's gonna help it really crisp up the exterior. All right, so now that these are fully seasoned, it's time to get them on this rack. I do like to cook them on a rack so that air can circulate totally around the rib and allow it to really kind of crisp up as it bakes versus putting them on the pan. Sometimes you just get one side that's really extremely burnt, especially since this particular seasoning has, as I mentioned earlier, a little bit of sugar in it. And we don't want these ribs to touch. We want a little bit of space between all of them. All right, so we have them in the oven, and this is gonna need to cook for just a little bit to render some of the fatty connective tissues that are found in the short ribs. Now, I do not like to use bone-in short ribs for this recipe because I f***ed them up last night for about 6 hours straight. So the nice thing about the boneless short rib is that all that inedible fat has already been removed. So it's gonna result in a more tasty cut of meat that's more edible, simply put. But also because there is no bone, it's gonna cook a lot faster. So I'm gonna grab a beer and I'll be right back. All right, these were cooking in the oven for about an hour and a half. I pulled them out at an internal temperature of about 175 degrees, right in that range for all of them. I would take a bone-in short rib to a much higher temperature, but as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, because these have been removed, all the inedible fat have been removed from these, I find that they're just perfect right here at this temperature. Also, because it's cooked to a temperature that's higher than well done to break down those tissues, there's no pink interior. So we're just gonna go ahead and get to this, take a bite and see how it tastes. Wow, this tastes absolutely fantastic. It has a little bit of a bark on the outside and you can really feel the heat coming through from that backdraft rub. It's mild, but man, is it fantastic. In closing, I just wanna say, thanks for checking out our video. Here at Red Meat Lover, we're all about cooking meat made easy. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, like, or even better, subscribe to our channel for future updates. We release new videos regularly. And in closing, I just wanna say one more thing. Like I tell a lot of my guy friends, tongs before thongs. I'll see you next time. This is fantastic. So good.